Good morning, guys. So today is an exciting day because I'm actually going to be finishing out planting my garden. So it is around the end of April. I think today is the 27th or the 28th. I don't know. It's somewhere in the late 20s of April, and you guys are going to be actually seeing this video in a few days. So last week we actually had a late frost, which isn't really unexpected in my area, to be completely honest. It kind of happens every single year. What was odd though is we didn't have a single day at or below freezing for the entire month before that happened, but we did get snow. It did end up dropping for 2 nights, but not really that long. Like, it really wasn't any type of freeze to necessarily completely worry about. I did go ahead and cover a few things, but other than that, the rest of our forecast looks like we are completely in the clear. So it's time to go ahead and just plant out the garden. Honestly, my peppers are really hating me, and I'll show you guys that in a second. But one thing I wanted to touch on first is just kind of how I want to attempt to lower my water bill this year with a few things. So one thing you guys know that I've touched on a few times is I've gotten some grow oyas. So I actually have 6 of these large ones that me and my husband purchased. One of these large ones can take control of a 4x4 area. So if you have 2 of them, it works really great for a 4x8 area. And what this essentially does is it can help cut down 70% of your water. And with this, your roots actually grow a lot deeper since they can tap so much deeper. This is a porous vessel that allows water to seep through and allows the plants to water themselves to where they end up being a lot healthier. Another option that I ended up kind of finding, because I am a hoarder of wine bottles, is I found these terracotta stakes. These will work in a very similar way, but your roots won't go as deep. I actually have an entire wine box here of empty wine bottles, and I actually have, I think, 16 of these little stakes. So you just fill up the water bottle, put it in, and stake it in, and that also helps the plants water themselves. Here in Kansas, we have very hot, windy, very dry conditions a lot, so our soil just dries out really fast. And last year, when I doubled the garden, honestly, our water bill just kind of skyrocketed. I did mulch a lot last year, which helped, and if you are not mulching, definitely make sure you're mulching. It'll be a game changer. Your soil does not like to be exposed, because then that happens. I need to get mulch on this bed after I plant it, but that will really help your water stay into the soil. But one thing I do not have in place that I would like to get in place is a water catching system. It's just something we have not invested in. We've just invested into expanding the garden. And now that the garden honestly is pretty much at probably its final form in this location, I will probably start investing in little things like that. So when I do move to a new property, I already have like all my systems in place. But I am really excited about these watering stakes. These were a lot cheaper of an option. If you drink wine, definitely consider it. I am a wine drinker. If you did not know, I actually did wine sales for a few years, and I like wine. We like wine in this house. So I don't really like to throw away the bottles. I like to propagate house plants in them and do other things. So this was just another really good option to the Oya. So I am so excited though. So Oya was absolutely completely generous, and they ended up sending me 2 mediums and 2 smalls. So I now have 10 Oyas total, which I am so pumped about. And look how cute the small is. Look how cute. So this one, the small here, can take control of a 2x2 area. The mediums can take control of a 3x3 area. I actually don't believe I will be planting these guys out. I might actually put these little ones in my melon area. I was actually initially thinking I might put this in my cloth planter. Actually, I still might do that. So if you don't know, cloth planters are absolutely fantastic, but one thing they are not good for is they dry out fast. And hello, again, with my windy, dry, hot conditions here in Kansas, soil just dries out really fast. So I'm doing everything I can over here to help lower my watering needs. Oh, that's what I wanted to talk about before I jump in. I had a few notes here because I am so scatterbrained sometimes. So yes, here we go. Okay, so with me starting seeds early this year, I started seeds about 3 weeks earlier than I typically did in my last few years. I learned some lessons with that, to be honest. So I got some new lighting this year as well, and that made one hell of a difference, let me tell you. So it made such a difference, and so I really did not need to start my seedlings early. My peppers were looking fantastic like 3 weeks ago, and honestly I probably should have started feeding them 3 weeks ago, but they looked so good I was like, no, they're fine. And then out of nowhere they all started to get yellow. So when that happens, you know, they're just growing out of their pots, they're losing nutrients, they aren't happy. And for instance, let me pull one up here. This guy here, I'm sure he's, yeah, like they got some roots on them. Like they've been in these pots, like I transplanted these once, and they've been in these pots for at least 12 weeks now. But I did start fertilizing them a few weeks ago, and you will start noticing like they really are starting to green up, but they're not happy. They're wanting to be out and about. They're wanting to mingle with their friends. Same with the tomatoes. My tomatoes got way too large. They were healthy, but I will say they were a pain to deal with inside my house. That was a lot. And honestly, I don't know if I would start tomatoes that early again, even though I have a really good head start. I spent so much money on potting soil, making sure that I could pot them up 3 separate times, and organic potting soil is not cheap. It's like $20 a bag, and I ended up buying at least 5 or 6 bags this year for seed starting, and honestly that's just not that feasible. That's kind of the lessons I learned when it came to starting my seedlings a little earlier this year. Like one little thing can make a difference, and honestly you are never going to have a perfect season, so keep that in mind. I've never had a perfect garden season. You will always have something fail. You will always have something disappoint you. You will always have the weather do something you did not expect. Just be prepared for those things. Honestly, the garden is something you never stop learning from. There's a lot of learning when it comes to growing food, and it's an ever-evolving process. So never give up, never keep your head down, honestly. I've had so many things fail. You see a lot more of the shiny things as far as the things that go well, but I try to show the things that don't go as well too. But either way, I guess at this point, I'm gonna get these oyas in the ground and get some things planted. So yeah. The world is waking up, and it got pretty warm and sunny fast, so I apologize if you can hear sirens. Absolutely nothing I can do about it. But I got all of my peppers in, the oyas are in, so I'm really pumped about that. Okay, now the sirens are just getting even louder. Okay, sorry, I know how distracting that can be, so I try not to film when there's noise distractions, but either way. Okay, so I got all of my peppers in, the oyas are in, and I also forgot to mention behind me I have some marigolds, cosmos, zinnias, and then I also have these climbing nasturtiums I am going to plant alongside my trellis tunnel over there that we are about to head to. But I'm also going to be direct seeding a lot of things today. So there are a few things I won't be doing today. I won't be doing pumpkins today because I gotta wait for my broccoli to be harvested and things like that. But I am gonna go ahead and start doing some of my sunflowers. I have one mammoth sunflower that is a volunteer that I'm really pumped about. We'll see how large that one gets. So I have some mammoth sunflowers, and then I'm also really excited. I'm doing some Goldie honey bear. This is a new variety, but if you like, look how beautiful that is. So I'm so pumped about that. I wanna just sprinkle chamomile all along the garden. More sunflowers. I won't be doing my zucchini or squash yet. I like to plant this over where my cabbage is in the insect netted hoop house because it's never without fail. I always have an issue with vine borers attacking my zucchini. So they always go in the insect netted hoop house because I've kind of just given up. And I've also noticed if you plant your zucchini later, so zucchini is pretty fast to harvest. So if you have a long growing season, typically you can get away with even planting your zucchini until about July, August. And if you do that, more July than August, but if you do that, especially with quick varieties, just like quick zucchinis, you won't have a problem with the vine borer. So if that's a problem in your area, maybe wait a little while longer. All right, so some of the other things, ooh, I don't think I found anywhere to put carrots this year. I planted a lot of carrots last fall and that worked out really, really well. And I think I'm just going to do that again, obviously, because yeah, I completely forgot. I marked out carrots, but now for some reason, I feel like I don't have room for the carrots. So we are not going to be doing carrots, but we have loofahs. Loofahs are going in the ground today. I'm doing my very first cantaloupe. This is the Charente melon. This is a French variety. I am so pumped. These get about 2 to 3 pounds each. I am doing some Boston pickling cucumbers this year. And then I'm also going to be planting some of my pole beans. So last year I did all bush beans, and I do plan to plant bush beans kind of all throughout the garden, but I'm not going to plant an entire bed like I did last year. So this trellis that I'm actually sitting under right now is going to be the pole bean area. So this is going to be an exciting thing. I need to mend these beds here before I do anything. These are the only beds I have not done anything to. I actually have, it looks like a volunteer sunflower and a volunteer tomato right beside me. So I'm just gonna go ahead and pull them out. I already moved some volunteer tomatoes. So either way, I need to amend this bed before I do any of the pole beans. But either way, I'm rambling at this point. But that's kind of the things that I'm direct seeding today. All right, so I'm in my tomato area now, which I planted like 4 or 5 days ago without you guys. I knew it was going to be a project, so I just wanted to put music in and go to town. So my indeterminates are along all of these cattle panels here, and then my indeterminates are with all of the tomato cages. I planted out basil in this area, and I'm about to plant out all of my marigolds. My plan for that is simply because I had a big problem with hornworms last year, and I read a lot on companion planting, so I'm hoping that this little plan of mine kind of helps out. So I planted basil in between a bunch of the tomatoes, and now I'm gonna go ahead and plant out all these marigolds. I have like 9 different marigolds, so that's supposed to help deter the army caterpillar and also hornworm. So I mean, I will obviously keep you updated. Last year I also had a problem not finding neem oil, and that was a big part of the reason why I had such a problem with hornworms, because neem oil was like non-existent to find, and that's one of my absolute favorite organic pesticides. So either way, I have neem oil stocked up for this year, so I think we will have a good action plan if anything were to happen. But I'm going to plant these marigolds, and then I'm also going to amend a few things and get a few other things planted. Our weather today has been so odd because now it's like super cloudy and kind of windy. All right, so I'm back inside. I was out there for about 6 hours planting, and I'm officially tired, needless to say. While I was planting things, I did notice that some of my radishes were already looking like I could go ahead and pick them. I do want to pick them on the smaller side just because I do have them in a pretty crammed bed with the onions, and I don't want the onions to get disrupted in any type of way, so I went ahead and picked them. This is a white hailstorm radish, I believe. I'm sure all different radishes taste different, but I have never tried a radish before, so I figured I would just do it real fast on camera with you guys, and we'll see what I think of it. Oh wow. It's kind of spicy. It almost reminds me of like a carrot, like a spicy carrot. But the texture is not as rough as a carrot. I'm trying to think what the texture reminds me of. Man, that actually has like, it's a unique type of spice. Cantaloupe. It reminds me of the texture of when you bite into like a cantaloupe or a melon. Maybe a little bit more dense like a carrot, but not as dense as a carrot. But a little bit more like a cantaloupe. That's what it reminds me of. But either way, I hope you guys enjoyed hanging out with me today and planting the garden. It was a productive one to say the least. Thank you guys so much for joining. I will see you all in the next one. Bye.